Hello and welcome to the Gaggle, where we challenge and, if necessary, destroy media narratives. I'm George Szamuely. With me today, of course, is co-founder of the Gaggle, Peter Lavelle, host also of RT's talk show Crosstalk. Well, yesterday, Antony Blinken was testifying. He didn't go into on the Hill. He was doing it from his office. Was testifying before the House Foreign Affairs Committee, and then today he's doing the same thing for the Senate. It was a staggeringly inept, unimpressive performance. I mean, this is a Secretary of State whose mind is just simply one cliche after another. And he did his standard Biden administration shtick. Hey, it's all Trump's fault. He negotiated this lousy deal. We didn't have an evacuation plan. We just had a deadline. So don't blame us. But it was the right thing to do to leave Afghanistan, because it would have been completely pointless to go on fighting. And we were right not to bring in troops so that we get Welsh on the Trump plan. And we got everybody out, but in fact we didn't get everybody out. We're still trying to get people out, and it's not our fault. Blame everything on Trump. So it was a completely incoherent argument that was presented. But the Biden people have been doing this now for a long time, which is they still, yes, it's the right thing to do. We couldn't possibly fight. Everything was already done. 2001, we won the war. We needed to be out. Nothing would change. We can spend another 10 years or whatever there. But in any case, it's all Trump's fault. Trump is the one who negotiated this lousy deal. So completely incoherent. But none of the House people was able to lay a glove on him, and that was perhaps the weirdest aspect of it. You'd have thought you should be able to knock this guy out of the ballpark. They failed to do so.
I mean, it says everything, because incompetence communicating with incompetence.
Right.
Okay. I mean, the people interrogating him. I mean, how many of them supported the war for 20 years, George?
Right. Yes.
All of them did.
All of them.
They all signed the check. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
A blank check at that, folks.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Right.
But I mean, even with the low octane questions from low octane office holders, and that's exactly what they are. Okay. I don't care what party they are. The fact that they're there means they're incompetent. That's why they're there. Yeah. But Tony Blinken, he can't get out of his own way. His cliches weigh him down so much they cloud any kind of thinking he has. Right. And he's the real McCoy, guys. He's the real thing. He is a walking, talking cliche. This is what ideology does to you.
Right.
It inoculates you from reality.
Right. Yep. Yeah. That's right. And that's why it was all completely incoherent. And then he announces that we're still flying all these people out. So it's already, he said, we've flown out 125,000 people. Apparently, it's still ongoing. They have no means at all of making sure that these are bona fide evacuees. They're out. They're already, some 60,000 have found their way into the United States. So that means they're here already in the United States. And then he says, well, there's all these people who have applied for those SIVs in the past. They're still stuck in Afghanistan. So we're going to get all of them out as well. So this evacuation campaign, it's an ongoing thing. It's a big deal. They're still working at it.
And you know what it is, George? Homeland Security says, well, it's the State Department's fault. And then the State Department, it's Homeland Security. Go talk to them. Okay.
Right.
Oh, and ICE, take a breather. Don't touch anybody. Okay.
Right.
No, I mean the way they're dealing with the evacuees, whatever title we want to give these people. I don't know if they're refugees or they're asylum seekers or migrants. I don't know what they are. No one has told me, and so I don't know what term to use, okay? But it seems to me in real time, their competence equals their lack of competence in getting out of the country. So it's on par. It's on par. At least they're consistent with their incompetence.
Right. That's right.
And the amazing lack of candor, of straight answers. I don't like to bring up Trump because I think we have to leave him in the rear view mirror on some of these issues. He may run again, and of course we'll talk about him. But you can't use it as a cudgel forever. You and I have a rule here: when it happens on your watch, you take credit or you take blame.
Right.
It's credit or blame on your watch.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
No, I don't know. I'm not a military logistics person, obviously, but if I had 6 months, the greatest, most powerful military in the world, you couldn't get out of your own way?
Right.
Okay, I mean, on the heels of the 9/11 commemoration, the intelligence failures, they abound. They're boundless, the number of errors these people make, and all we do is keep giving them more money.
Right. That's right. That's right. And so, I mean, you say, well, we didn't really know that they would collapse. Well, of course,
that's your job. It's your job to know.
Exactly. And anybody could have said that the moment you pulled the plug and told them, we're leaving, we're not providing you with any air support, forget everything, they're going to collapse. I mean, when people are completely dependent on you, they're going to collapse. And for them to say, well, we didn't know, we thought they would be able to fly on.
In July, before I went on vacation for all of August and missed all this on Crosstalk, of course, we covered it here on the Gaggle. But in July, I made a program about the end of American presence in Afghanistan. And I said, we're going to be looking at a Saigon 2.0. I'm a talk show host, George.
Right.
Okay. I know something about history. I love history, but if I could see it coming, right. you mean the Joint Chiefs of Staff couldn't see it coming? Really?
Right.
I mean, I should be cutting their paycheck. Okay.
Right, exactly. But again, that just shows you how the Biden, Blinken, Milley characters simply take no responsibility. Oh, it's all the Afghans' fault. It's all their fault. They're the ones who collapsed. No, I mean, you sponsored them. You were there for 20 years. But you had 20 years to build up this as an effective fighting force, and they just collapsed. Within hours. I mean, again, we go back to the Soviet Union days. I mean, the Soviet Union, at least when they left, the government they left behind, it survived for another 3 years. Yeah, but so it wasn't so completely humiliating. Even Saigon, we talk about Saigon, that still survived 2 years. It wasn't quite as abysmal as this. I mean, so for them just to turn around, it's Trump's fault. It's the Afghans' fault. It has nothing to do with us. It's just absolutely contemptible. And not one of them resigns. Not one of them accepts responsibility for anything.
Unfortunately, in the American political context, foreign policy failures, you tend not to be punished for it, unfortunately. No. Other issues, yes. Right. Immigration is a big one, and the Democrats are going to be slaughtered for this, okay? Right. They're in complete ineptitude. On a silver platter, they're given vaccines, a plan of action and all this, and they bungled that. For me, that is, you and I are closer to looking at Afghanistan because of history and all that and geopolitics. But if in the grand scale of things, in the American context, bungling this COVID thing it's unbelievable. It boggles my mind how they've screwed this up so badly.
Right. No, I agree with you. I mean, that's a big issue. And I think that when we were discussing yesterday, the sudden growth of this meme of F. Joe Biden, I think that it pertains to COVID. I think much more than Afghanistan. I don't think the people who are yelling this really care very much about Afghanistan, but they do care about the COVID.
I think this is a nexus of a number of issues, and I think because of the imagery and the optics of the Kabul airport, because you have to remember, for non-Americans here, the American public wasn't told virtually nothing for 20 years about Afghanistan, virtually nothing, okay? Well, let's say the last 10 years, okay? And so it suddenly came on the radar, and you had these heart-wrenching images, and that does stick with people. It's completely out of context. But COVID is not out of context if you lost your job in your business. Okay, it's not. COVID is not out of context if you have substance abuse problems within your family and stuff like that. But I think this Joe Biden is it's a coalescing of all of these things.
Right. No, I think that's fair.
Gross incompetence, lack of messaging. This guy that can't, even with the teleprompter, has a hard time talking. And then you have these empty suits all around him. Jake Sullivan, Tony Blinken.
Yes. No, I think it's fair, and I think that it's like. But the thing is that these people who make these chants, I mean, ultimately they are concerned with their own affairs. What affects them. And I think the COVID thing is, they feel, hey, we were told something. We were told that by July the 4th, life would get back to normal. And now suddenly, we're being told that we're nowhere. We got this. We're going to have booster shots. We're going to start this whole propaganda campaign about against the unvaccinated. And I think that is really kind of the last straw. So
particularly for the tens of maybe up to 100 million people that had COVID, survived it, have resistance to it, and there's not one word. When Fauci was asked the question, he said, "That's a good question."
That's right.
And you're the one that's been running this show for a year and a half, and you don't have the answer to the most important question?
Right. No, I think that's very true. And it is an amazing thing. I was thinking about this today, which is that this charlatan, nothing at all, is capable of just pushing him out of the way. I mean, there he is, there is, again, with the masks, the booster shots, the war against the unvaccinated, and yet everything that we have known about him, all that we have found out about his involvement with the Wuhan lab and gain of function research, everything, and he continues. He's there on television still, day after day, night after night, spreading all this nonsense. I mean, it is an amazing. I can't think of any comparable figure, any comparable charlatan who has had this kind of influence.
I've racked my brains. You and I know Soviet history very well. When I'm trying to think of a character that had that kind of power where they couldn't push him aside. I can't think of a historical parallel. It's because it is so anomalous.
Right.
Okay. Right. And what it is that he will carry water for one side, and he's a clever character. He knows that if he sticks to his tribe, the tribe will protect him. Even though you can run now hours of video of like from the beginning to now, and say, what is his message? No mask, 3 masks.
Yes.
Vax or mask, or vax and masks.
Right.
And then this I won't let this natural immunity thing go away.
No, that's good.
I have friends that had it, and they went to airport. They actually left the country of where they were living. They went to their home country, and they were thrown back. And they said, "Well, I have natural immunity. I already had it. Here's documentation. I already had it." Nope.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's very true. So yeah, it's when you think of really the record of the Biden administration, it is an abysmal one. Hard to think of anything that he has put his hand to, which one could say, "Oh well, that is a success." COVID was the one that he was running on. He said, we rolled out the vaccine, the COVID problem's gone, and he's lost it. That's it. That was his issue. He's lost it.
People cannot go to the ICU because the beds are full. No, it's not true. No. What's happening, George, is medical professionals are quitting left and right. They don't have the personnel because you would think that people are on a daily basis, month after month after month, dealing with COVID patients, and they say you have to take the vaccine, and they say, "Not me."
That's right.
Well, come on, somebody explain to me, a non-science person, what does that mean?
Yeah.
People that deal with it every single day, and they don't want to take it. That's their choice. I am vaccinated. George is vaccinated.
Right, but
Why they're making that decision? I don't care about a guy that plays the pretend doctor in Washington. I'm interested in what people say on the front lines in the trenches.
Well, that's right, and I think particularly with nurses, and so these are nurses who have reasonable fears about implications for fertility. I mean, it's understandable. All young women should have concerns about the implications for fertility. We don't know what the long-term effects of this vaccine are, and now with all the talk of a third booster shot, fourth booster shot. The Israelis are already onto the fourth booster shot. So, they are extremely concerned. And yeah, you're absolutely right. They are quitting in droves, and that's what's causing a sudden, beds not being available. So so it's really a stunning development.
No, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this should have been a walk in the park. This thing should have been wrapped up. Yep. If you have a breakthrough case, you're going to feel really very bad for a few days. But I feel very bad when I get the flu too for a few days. Okay. What they could have done, they could have wound this thing up, but they decided not to at their peril. And then you throw in immigration, fentanyl everywhere, the optics of Afghanistan, and it's all choreographed by. We'll circle back. It's all choreographed by people like Tony Blinken.
Yep.
Okay. This is what afflicts this administration.
Right.
It is Blinkenitis.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's exactly it. With all their empty talk of values, and they know what's good for you. They know much better than
Harvard here and Yale here.
Yeah. Well, Blinken's, of course, a very good example of that. He was born into money. Went to all the elite schools, made all the elite connections. Punched his ticket. Sailed into big jobs. And that's it. But a complete dunderhead. I mean, so that's it. That's exactly what you get. It's like this, a total zero, but with all the credentials. So
we have an elite that has chosen ideology over reason. That's how we got here.
Yeah.
They have no way out. They're taking us down with them, okay? Because if you don't agree, then you're a dissenter. And if you're a dissenter, you're an enemy. And that's how they created this paradigm.
I think that's right.
And George has said a number of times on this podcast, and let it sink in. When people hate you so much, you will eventually hate them back.
Yeah. I think, and we're definitely seeing this is manifesting itself. This is an interesting development. I mean, Biden goes to places and he's booed. I mean, he's booed, and this is very unusual for a president only essentially 8 months into his first term. Booed wherever he goes.
Well, and then we can just cap it off here. Again, incompetence that's the theme of this podcast, on almost all of our podcasts. Right. Joe Biden goes into a photo of young kids wearing MAGA gear. Nobody saw that. Okay, maybe I can believe Joe has bad eyesight. Does his entire staff have bad eyesight too?
That was a great photograph. I mean, because the kids were really lovely. They're all wearing this, MAGA shirts and everything. So yeah, that was a great picture. And Biden has absolutely no idea what's going on.
All right. Incompetence Chronicles. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. We're on local, so please go to thegaggle.locals.com. George, tomorrow you have
exactly. The live stream on locals, the locals live stream. So please come with your questions. I will try to answer the best of my abilities. If I can't, I'm just going to circle back. But
he is the gaggle sage. Okay.
Exactly. Well, yes.
Tell us about our super chat.
Yes, and then we have a super chat on Friday, 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So no lunch for anyone. You have to be here at the computer screen, throwing questions our way. We love hearing from you. We love interacting with gagglers. So you can skip lunch one day.
We've got the store up. George and I yesterday did another Q&A, which was a whole lot of fun. And Holding Buddy, which is synonymous with one very key issue here. It's the tip jar. Okay?
The tip jar, exactly.
I think after all of these videos, it's self-explanatory what we're talking about.
That's it, exactly. He's kind of a little myth. He's made his feelings clear, and yet there's no action. It's just all talk, no action. So yeah, it'd be nice to see some action. Nice to see the tip jar filling up. So whatever you can do to help be most appreciated. We're very, very grateful for all your kindness and generosity. Because the more we can help, the better the product will be. And remember, if you like the gaggle, please like, share, and subscribe. See you soon. Bye.